Hello and welcome to the Municipal Arts in Newhall, also known as the Main. My name is Sean Hughes and I'm the audio tech here over at the Main. We are located in downtown Newhall in Santa Cruz Valley. Today I'm going to show you how to turn on our Behringer X-32 board so you can successfully turn it on and off and use it for your play or whatever you might need here over here at the Main. First we're going to start by taking our cover off. We're going to fold it up properly. Second, we do not put it here. We do not put it here. Over here in the cubby hole, we have a specific space for it, which is nice. You can also take your lighting covers and put that there. And then at the end of the night, you can cover them up. We do require you cover them at the end of the night. So secondly, once we've uncovered the board, we're going to go over to our rack mount system here. Over here we have the Furman power conditioner, which was just testing here. You can see that these are the lights, and a lot of times people turn the switch on and off when they think it's this, but it's not. That's why we leave these open. But over here on the right, it's red and it's your on and off switch. It also says first on and second off. So since it's first on, we're going to power it on. Then we're going to wait 30 seconds to a minute. I have to literally do that, so we're going to wait. And I can also know, if you peek over here, my board is up and running. It's not thinking about turning on. I can see that on the screen over here, so now they'll know the board is on. And so now I can successfully turn this on down here, which is our second power conditioner, which is going to turn on our amps. And over here, I'm switching it on. This light stays on all the time, so it's not an indicator whether it's on or off. But you will know by it being switched to the right. It also says on here, second on and first off. Okay, next we're moving over to the board. So this is our X-32 board and a Behringer, and it has, if you can see here, we have 1 through 16. And if I go over to here and I flip this 7 to 32, it'll show 17 to 32. We use generally 1 through 16 for our plays. But there's a couple procedures we need to make sure that we do here at the Main so that you get a clean board for you to use, and it's called zeroing the board and it's fresh. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go all the way over to here, and we're going to go over to our scene section. We're going to hit view, and then when we hit view, it's going to have a red light, and you'll see that it'll open up this screen, which is like a folder file. After the folder file opens, we're going to scroll over with our page select here using the arrows and go over to scenes, and it says scenes right on top of there. Now in our scenes, I've set up some presets for you called main start. I also have a main start one, which is the same, and the other ones are used for other shows. But the main one that you want here at the Main is going to be your main start one, which should open up for any plays, be able to use successfully using sound, mic, and also QLab, whatever might be popular. So here we're going to use this button, which is a toggle switch, as you see it move through, and also a push button. When I push it, it says to load this main start, and we want to say yes. We can hit yes and also confirm. Now to show you what it does, I'm going to bring up the faders, what I mean by zeroing the board, and you'll magically see them go down. And now your board has been zeroed, and you can start getting into whatever it might be, to loading in on input 1 or 2, maybe some sounds, and also work with a wireless microphone. So just to go a little more in depth on sections that are important for you to understand on the board, the first one would be, this is your faders, your individual faders controlling whatever it might be. For example, this is mic 1, mic 2 through 4 you can use. And then also over here, it's more popular for sound or just playing music or cues. We have the 1/8 inch input here and 1/8 inch 2. So on 1 through 16, the one we have for you is going to be actually input 2, 13 and 14. But the first thing we need to do is bring up our main volume. Without our main, we will not be able to hear it out in the speakers outside. The second thing we want to do is we want to look at our channels. If it's green and lit green, that means that you're on that channel, and it'll tell you right up here on channel 1. And as I scroll through here, you got channel 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Now moving up here, we are on channel 13, so we want to select that, and sure enough, by going back home, I can see I'm on channel 13, and I can see the channel that I'm working with, and it's going to give me my feedback, which has a gain of 6 and is set up and ready to add something in. Now that you've successfully turned on the board, we need to plug in your device that you're going to use for your sound and music. On our board here, we've set up 3 inputs for you technically. On channel 1 through 16, which is on channel 13 and 14, we have input 2 for you, which each cable is labeled. For example, I will show you here. So this is labeled 13 and 14 input 2. And then on channels 17 through 32, I have input 11 and 12 is going to be 27 and 8. And then also we have 29 and 30. Nice. So that finally focused there. That's great. So on this one here, on 13 and 14, is our focus here because we're on channels 1 through 16. I have attached a dongle for an iPhone. And what I want to do is I want to plug in my iPhone. And we want to prepare this to test our signal. Now to test our signal, we are not going to turn up the volume right away, but we will bring up the main volume, which I'll show you in a minute. And then we'll also see that we're getting a signal. So, but what we want to do on our device first, as you'll see, we want to turn our volume up all the way here. Now other places will tell you 50%, but what we want to do is make sure that our gain staging, all we're controlling is our fader on the board. So 100% or just a click under should be good enough here, and then you can control everything at the board. So once I have my phone or my device or my computer all set up with ready for sound, now I've turned up that device to full. In this case, that's what we do here, so that we can take our gain staging and bring it down to 2 devices. After that, what we need to do is just test and make sure we're getting some sound. So I'm going to press play on my device. I'm actually going to mute the volume because we're just going to look for a signal. And sure enough, over here, I'm getting a signal. I can see that it's coming through. And then over here, here's my gain. If I increase this gain, it may increase the volume a little bit. And we can see we're getting more signal. Now that's really loud, but that tells me that my device is working. And as long as my amps are on, we should be able to get some signal. So we'll run a little test here. See that it's playing, and just by bringing up the fader, this is how I will control my volume at my show. And sure enough, we can hear that in the background. And then we can bring it down. And one of our other features too is once we bring it up, I can easily just hit the mute feature. We've made these into a stereo channel, connecting 13 and 14. And then we can unmute it, and we can just bring it down. And pretty much there, once you're there, you've already have your music and ready. Now if you have a sound that is not loud enough, say I want it to be a little louder, we can go up to our gain on this specific channel, but you have to make sure your channel is selected. And this is going to get louder, but you can see it will increase. And I'll bring it back down to +6. So once you are in your main start, it's already going to have a +6 for you on all the input channels. Now that you've successfully gotten sound, and I will open this up to show us, I'm going to show you how to shut down the board, because the shutdown procedure is essentially the reverse process of that. For now, I'm going to mute the music so you can still hear me. Now I'm going to pretend that we ran a microphone. Maybe we did 2 microphones, and over here we have a wireless 1 and 2. Maybe I used a wireless 1 and 2. We also have a 3rd microphone for you. And now that I'm ready to shut things down and my show is done, first thing I want to do is turn down my fader here. That's the channel that I was using to output my sound or music. Next I'm going to go to my device. I'm going to mute the channel, and you see that it'll disappear on the EQ. There's no more signal. Now I can successfully, if I choose to, I can bring down the main volume, and then I can go back over here to scenes, originally what we started with, go back to view, scroll over to scenes in the tabs here, we press the button for main start, and then I'm going to hit confirm. Last time I did this button here, which is a push button confirm, I'm going to show you that yes works also. And sure enough, you can see that our faders have returned. Now your board has been zeroed. If I unclick view here, it'll take me back to my channel for home, or I can also just click home. And now I'm set up on channel 1 where I was on 13, so that also tells me my board is zeroed. Next, we need to go over to the power amps, and we're going to shut those down properly in reverse order. So now that we've successfully powered down the board, we need to turn off the preamps and power conditioners. So it's just a reverse of what we started with, as labeled, first on, second off, and then down below we have second on and first off. So let's start with down below. Okay, and then we're going to be switching it off. Now here again, we're going to be waiting 30 to 40 seconds to a minute even, and then we're going to move all the way up to the top, and we're going to power down over here. So we've waited long enough. I'm powering down. And then I'm going to turn off my lights here. Don't forget those. That's why we leave them open. So our final step is our cover. So don't forget to put your cover back on, and that's why we put it in the cubby hole, so you don't forget it behind the board. Well, it's been wonderful to teach you guys this step here at the main down in Newhall, and I hope this helps you. If you ever get stuck and you're here, just bring this video up and I'll be able to help you. And till we see you again. One last thing important to remember here, you do not have to zero the board every night. You would just zero the board when you start your show. You would zero the board when you finish your show, or you may zero the board after you know that somebody's used it in between your show. But the board will remember your show every time, or whatever it is that you want, when it turns on and off.